Hello guys, intraday update again, quickie on this one because we had another drop during the overnight session and basically this was exactly what we've talked about into the earlier BTC updates that I've released in this same YouTube channel, in which I explained that I was lagging and lacking of a signal to risk limit the daily bottom structure that I highlighted. So we were definitely into a technical area, and I've mentioned it multiple times. Things could go stupid out there because we did get a lot of volatility alerts on major altcoins. So I stated very clearly back then, no one will be able to predict the bottom. So whoever is attempting to do such a thing is a dumb trader. So just try to make rational back then, okay? Neither you nor I would be able to catch the bottom perfectly. Therefore, abandoning this even idea would be the best choice for everyone. Basically stating that we need to get to layer ourselves in, as this is clearly a technical level that has high probability to repush prices up for multiple reasons. The technicals is one side of the market, the fundamentals were another. We're definitely undervalued levels for major cryptocurrencies named Bitcoin, ETH, and so on. Of course, a lot of bullshit out there that will go to zero within the next 2 years. So don't make generalities out there. Just the good ones are fairly undervalued now. They are under pressure and under stupid pressures as well, as lots of traders, and we've mentioned that yesterday, are making these assessments that if the stock market goes down, if the Fed rate hikes, then the cryptos will crash. It has absolutely no relationship. The inflation, even if the Fed rate hikes, will take years to get out, which means there will still be more money circulating, there will still be higher prices, and there will still be inflation hedge that the Bitcoin has been designed to be. So don't worry about it. Bitcoin is programmed to go up. The only question is, how much would you pay to get one of them? So in that perspective, of course, market makers play with the prices, and well, as long as you have your coins, they are yours. So never ever consider buying with leverage. You know the drill. Okay, so my personal plan have been shared already. I have decided to layer in at multiple level. The first one was 44k, second 40k, and the lightest one was below 38. I have decided to trigger the last one today as we finally have the signals. So now that I have the nature of the market's down pressure, I can assess my risk limitation. So the market is accelerating to the downside on a bullish trend. Remember that when the moving average is below the rising context, that means there is a trend, even though the fact that the market is going from context to context, so that is not a typical trend. This looks more like a bullish range, and this is because the trend has already played its game, okay? We've assessed that multiple times. This is where we broke up. This was the daily pullback. So the finality of that trend, the final excess, generally looks like a bullish range. So we are into fairly, very attractive prices to terminate this daily trend. But oh boy, we still have weekly and monthly trends. So there's still way more upside potential. Just be patient. And of course, as we're trading on supportive prices and attractive prices, if you want to load up some money in the market again, this was a pretty damn attractive prices to do so. In that perspective, that's exactly what I've done. To make sure that we all understand each other, my plan was never to buy with gains or leverage or whatever. This is no speculative gambling. This is just taking some saved money, euros, and transferring them into Bitcoins because, well, I think Euro will keep debunking and debasing, as I still believe Bitcoin anyhow and anyway will be a safer investment over 5 years. So this is really what this is all about. At 40k Bitcoin, I'm definitely adding some to my stash. That's all about it. I'm not doubling or tripling my Bitcoin exposition. I'm just rising stakes from a side cash. Okay, so this is pretty much about it. If you want to know a bit more about the position sizings, because I had questions about it earlier today, basically I've increased my stack for 10% out there, 20 in here, and another 10% today. So most of the volume has been executed over the 40k drop the other day, and today I'm adding a little bit of a 10%. So overall, kind of approximately 40% increase on my Bitcoin exposition, which was very, very low back then. Remember that I was heavy growth oriented, lots of ETH atoms and souls and stuff like that. Okay, so most of my portfolio is risk oriented. Though I really thought that at attractive prices, a more defensive stance by increasing exposition to safer assets like Bitcoin, going cash with it, no leverage, was an appropriate stance to take. So this was my choice, and now I explained it. Okay, so here's the signal I wanted. Now I've got the nature of the market's exhaustion move, and it's really looking at pushing to the stupidest possible level. So now that I know about it, I know what to do with it. The market is trying to accelerate and is pushing the momentum to its maximum. So two things can come out of this. First one is either I definitely was wrong, and in that perspective, we're going to switch that daily range to a weekly range, and we're going to create the weekly pullback, meaning that we're going to terminate the bear cycle and we're going to stay there for long enough, eventually revisiting the 30K support or not. But we are going to terminate the bear cycle, okay? Meaning that we're going to stay there for long enough, okay? Which we talked about. And if that happens, then nothing will ever come out of 2022. We'll stick with the market dump that we made last year, and we'll hold on to the bottom as well. And we're just going to diversify stupid risk limitation in between. There will still be ups and downs, of course, okay? But the structure is we'll not go all-time high again if we switch to a weekly chart range. Option number two, okay, there's no such a thing. We're making exhaustion move. We're not going to close the week in here. We're going to make a lower shadow candle. And in that perspective, if the daily chart is sending reverse signal with that nature of risk limitation, I can tell you one thing. The bull cycle that I forecasted in the other day's lesson is exactly going to happen much shorter than I thought. I gave you kind of a time scale that it could go from 1 month to 2 months, kind of an approximate 8 weeks for a bullish cycle to occur. And let me be real clear, with that kind of exhaustion move and exhaustion pattern, I very well stand for even shorter than that. I think that out of 4 or 5 weeks, we could be right above that resistance. So we've tried to push to the downside, down to this maximum. I expect a very rapid recovery coming out of it. I think it's going to be even faster than this one. So take that momentum, okay, and I assume that normally we'll go faster than that. So we've got exhaustion to the downside. If this is the bottom, don't be dumb enough to think that the recovery is too fast, okay? And of course, don't let yourself drive crazy, because whenever we reach out the first taking profit area, we're probably going to get a long and painful consolidation until the next phase show up, okay? Remember that the market maker can play with time, and they will definitely do it. They play with psychology using the momentum and the consolidation time. So looking at the way they have been working out prices in the nearby area, here is my updated plan for the year to come. I think if we do not switch to the weekly chart time frame, the recovery will be very violent. I expect something like the 20K upside move potential to be done in a few weeks. And of course, once we've reached out those levels, there's going to be a hell of a lot of a distribution coming out. So I suspect a very long and painful consolidation will show up, okay? The next bull run will occur later after, and that is my current updated plan. So now I'm waiting for the candle closes, but yeah, 38K was my plan. I bought today. I wanted to let you guys know.